Welcome back, everybody. So let's do a vanilla run. Come on, zombies, come to me. Come on, then. Hi West, you right? I'm doing something I never do, and doing a run in on a vanilla-ish server. Practice those basic skills that I never normally get to practice. That's a really good point. As I said, I never think about these skills. So sometimes it's good to go back to basics just to practice. No, I'm really good, thank you. Historically, the roof of Humvees used to be better than the bloody boot. They might have nerfed it by now. You never know. We'll leave this place out. We don't care about it. Too many Zeds for the amount of armour I don't have. And if Willie's on later, Willie plays on PlayStation and Xbox, and we're hoping to get Willie across to PC at some point. But it's a case of he watches my streams to get some training tips. So I promised that I would do a stream in vanilla to give him a chance to, because he's playing on Xbox or PlayStation, to give him a chance to understand how to play the base game and how I would go about looting up and moving through the terrain. I never play vanilla. I always play some sort of modded, and I suppose this is, it's got loot, it's got double loot, but thanks, Stakes. It's appreciated massively. You're thinking, why is that foolish goblin running around on a vanilla server? Yeah, so if he comes on, I'll commit suicide and then show him from the beginning of what I do, you know, the water, food, well, yeah, water, food, weapons, fishing, hunting, where to go to loot up that other people don't always go to, just to get yourself a level of gear. What buildings to not care about in vanilla, because there's no point looking, there's going to be nothing in there of any value. Where to make stash points, where you can hide things that people don't think about. The stuff that many of us take for granted because we've played for so long. And also it helps me because I'm not used to playing vanilla. Yeah, deathmatch doesn't bores me. If you're going to play deathmatch, you might as well play Call of Duty. Your server is the closest it's ever been to staying on a vanilla-ish server. See, yeah, my servers, I like vanilla, but I just don't think it was ever taken as far as they needed to. So I try and make my servers feel like an enhanced vanilla, maybe. Like, I know at night, there's no point going over there. There's lots of zombies. I can't pick my battles. And I would never pick up a compass, because it's Chernarus or Livonia. You should know where you're going if you play it enough. Ish. I mean, you might not know it exactly, but I know where I am on the map. I know what direction I'm heading. And I know the route that I would normally take on this side and the route on the other side. And I think everybody has their own route. Yeah, so my servers, I like it to be difficult, but I don't like it to be impossible. I like it to be challenging. I understand I'm never going to have a full pop server. So what it has to be instead is an environmental challenge that seems either fits into the map we're playing or fulfills a use. I'm never going to stick dinosaurs on. I'm never going to stick enhanced zombies on. I've tried that before. It's not for me. The crocodiles was because we wanted to control the rivers. Because Livonia, it's so easy just to swim across the river wherever you like. Otherwise, I'd never have put crocs on it. Because crocs don't fit into Livonia. Other maps, yes. But certainly not Liv. The next map we won't need to do in those type of enhancements because it's already got crocodiles on it. I'll just probably increase their spawns from like a single to a pairs. I bug when just one of the player comes in. Run away! Yeah, it. But as you said, I mean, I think you said to me, Stakes, that you had a history of playing PvE, and I imagine with your, if that's right, with your sort of specs that you were playing, that made sense. But then my servers must at times feel PvE without being PvE. What I wanted to do was have a community of players that enjoy playing what I offer, and you guys do. You're amazing. And you come back for more. And occasionally there's a PvP incident and someone gets killed. But it doesn't happen every day. But there's an element of risk still. And we like the element of risk. Like, I know I could repair this lot, but I'm not going to. History is PvP since start, but try to make it PvE as much as possible. Okay. Whereas I won't play PvE servers. I'll play survival, I play enhanced, I'll play vanilla. I just don't do pure PvE. I like there to be that that risk of someone killing you rather than something. Badly damaged, damaged. Throw away the badly damaged, we'll keep the damaged. Let's do some loot sorting. That can go in there, that's food, that's water. That can go in there because we don't want it to, if we do get shot or we have to run in water, that can go there. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Stick that away. Put that away if it's an emergency, one of them. That's there. Move that down. Don't care about the sporter, but hey, it's useful. Bring that down. That down. I wonder if actually I take that up, that, and that. Swing that way. Bring that down to there. That's better. Keep my ammunition in here like I always do. Mags on that side. Bring the pistol down there. Firelighter across there. Knife there. That one there. Happier with that. I've been playing PvP, so I tried to fit in PvE as much as possible. Does that even make sense? Yes, completely. I'm not a natural PvPer. I can if I have to. And with Cookie, we used to play a lot of heavy PvP servers. And I am better at it than I ever used to be. But naturally, I'm a survival player. But I like playing survival where there's an element of risk. So I try and make servers that give a fun experience for everybody. That it keeps the sweaty PvPers away because there's no food and no special weapons for them. And if they die, they've got miles to travel. Because I don't want lots of tickets being opened, because it means that I don't get to game. I spend all my life dealing with tickets, which I don't enjoy doing. I don't always play my servers. I still play others. I mean, like, at some point over the weekend I will be on Livonia. It's going to happen. And I will be streaming it. Probably tomorrow. Tonight we'll be on here. We'll get a run in for a few hours. And then, yeah, I need to find myself. I need to record some episodes of Subsistence this weekend, so I can get ahead a little bit in that series, rather than at the moment I'm recording one, it's going out on a Wednesday night, then I'm recording the next, and I need to record like 10 episodes and then be 10 weeks ahead. The Subsistence community it's like the DayZ community. It's very fickle. If I miss an episode, I'll certainly know about it and be told off. But when it comes to streaming live, I'll always stream DayZ on here. But I'll record other things. I also need to do some work this week. I've got a brace coming in for my graphics card this weekend. And I need to rework some of the cables so they look a bit neater. Very Xbox nights. I hate these nights that aren't dark, but I understand people put servers up. I picked a server that was particularly empty because I wanted to practice my base skills. Living off the land and navigating and not being able to press M for a map. The things that we don't always do in DayZ. You pick up a map and you set a waypoint. And we're coming up now to my... We're not that far off. I'm only about 20 hours away from 5,000 hours in game. So that's quite a biggie. We'll have the crowbar. I'd rather have the crowbar than baseball bat, in all honesty. There's a bus down here, a few houses, the bus. I have played a lot of Chernarus over the years. Sporter. Normally we wouldn't. Sorry, Merv. But it's good for chickens. Lighting fires. For me, my favourite map is... probably Livonia. So the one I was playing this afternoon is becoming... I'm really liking the feel of that one. But that might be because it's a new map. What I like about Livonia is the sweaty players didn't like it, so they stayed away. What about you, Stakes? What's your favourite map? See, I hate that. You can walk in one door and you get glitched on. Yeah, I get that. 100% do. I mean, the next map we're going to is a lot smaller, obviously. So things are a bit more condensed. I've just got to work out in my head how we're going to deal with base building. But I'm going to add probably you and West to a private area on the Discord to discuss it with you, because you're the two guys that always play. I like Deer Isle. The trouble is with a 30 slot server, I don't know whether we'd ever have any interaction, if that makes sense. People would never see each other, so it would become, with sort of our 10 players that we have on average, it would feel very PvE. Namausk, I quite like jungle Namausk, or yeah, but I don't like alien jump through things. Pacific Northwest I quite enjoy. The server I was playing this afternoon with Merv, that I'm really enjoying, but as I said, I think that's more... No, it's not fair. I really do enjoy it, but also it's a new map for me. I can't stand the desert map because I'm not a natural PvPer, so it's all about long-range sniper shots. Pakistan, it's just not me. I'm quite looking forward to Frostline when that comes out. You learnt on the mouse. Amazing. I hated the mouse for a long, long time. I will run it, but I will run it when I'm like with Cookie, and it has to be a PvP server because he knows the mouse inside out. Whereas I'm okay. If you said to me, get to Lollipop, I could get there. Whether I could get there easily would be a different thing. Yeah, I know where we are. I need morning to come and I need the rain to stop. So I can assess myself a lot better that way. Ours is badly damaged. That's just damaged. Don't need it. If we get a cold, we'll deal with that as a separate commodity. Come down this side. Check the sheds. I'm not overly worried about food at the moment. I've got emergency honey. We're not base building, so we don't need locks. Brentsk. I know it because I used to have a base here. That's how I know it. On a big PvP server. As a team, we built in here. It was a top 100 PvP server at the time, within the top 100. And we built our base in here. And we had all of that as an airlock. And we had our vehicles in and out here. And then you went round the airlock and you actually came into the base this side, and then all the bottom floor was airlock, and then the top floor was our base. Yeah, so I'll be adding you states, if it's alright, to a separate bit of the Discord where I can discuss some ideas for the new server and run them past you. I mean, we're not wiping till August, it's fine, but I just want to have that conversation with someone that plays my servers and understands where I'm coming from. And the problem I have, or the problems I might have, and how I'm trying to solve them. We'll take the 9mm. I hear you, Mr. Chicken. Have you, because it's your first time you've built a base, have you enjoyed the experience? At first, no, it was terrible, not understanding the basic dynamics. Okay. But as you started to get your head round it, did it make more sense? I can't imagine the nightmare. Now it makes sense. Yeah. I can't imagine the nightmare. Because, I mean, I started off on modded servers with expansion. And expansion's like really easy building. The trouble is I don't like expansion. So expansion makes DayZ, setting up DayZ servers really easy. Because it's all included. But I don't like the amount of stuff you have to turn off and tweak to get the server where you want it. I would rather load the mods on I want than turn off mods I don't want. So I don't have expansion. But if we had expansion and an expansion building, it would be so much easier. I went for RAG because it's close to vanilla in looks. It feels... No, it's not. It feels like it should be in the world, if that makes sense, rather than have things that don't feel like they should be in the world. And I wanted there to be an effort, and I wanted it to use nails. Because we have a nail-based economy. The next server, I can't work out... Well, I'll talk to you. I'll explain my problems on the next one. In when I set up the little group. It'll probably be me, you and Irish, realistically, and West. And I realise different people want different things. And I can't give everybody what they want because it's still going to be my vision. But sometimes just saying to you guys, this is the problem I've got. And you say, well, how about looking at it this way for a solution? And I'll go off and look for that solution. Is what I need. And it will help no end. Yeah, what I don't like about RAG is it's only one tier. It would be really nice if RAG had a metal upgrade to make it like tier 2. One of the things that's really good about RAG, though, from a server perspective, is there's a lot of control it puts in the background. They've got like a single JSON file where I can select, do I want vanilla turned on or off? Do I want flags to work? Do I want the bases to never degrade? How do I want raiding to work? It's all there for me, which is really useful. Now we're going to go past here, then we're going to push out to the right flank, go round to the farm and fill up at the well. I see you, zombie. Barbed wire off. So, no, the turning barbed wire on is a mod. And the problem with a big map is the first time it runs, it calculates every bit of barbed wire in the game. So when you first turn the server on, and makes it all horrible and dangerous. So on a small map, that's fine. There's not a lot of space to worry about. On a big map, it adds 5 minutes loading. Is it all off the server for bases? Placing it did nothing. I'm not sure on the barbed wire side for that. So for my dangerous barbed wire I was talking about, sorry if you weren't discussed, if you didn't mean that. So next server, if we go into a smaller map, we'll have dangerous barbed wire again. But I think with RAG, it's probably about looks. Yeah. So, like, if I ran into barbed wire now, it wouldn't hurt me. Because they don't have a mod on here for barbed wire. Which seems really stupid because it's barbed wire. When you attach it to a gate, in vanilla, it works. But in normal mode, it doesn't. You can climb on top of it and use it. And so next wipe, barbed wire will be back to being barbed wire again because it's a smaller map. Yeah. And a smaller map. I like enhanced barbed wire. I like the fact that it does its job. Pristine. Always take a box of nails. If you're ever playing on Chernarus, 90% of the time, that boat there in that location will always spawn you a box of nails. I'm never going to put like mobile bases in or an easy to make base. I think base building should be a challenge. Even though I love base building. But I think that some servers make it too easy. But it's trying to get that setting just right. It's a balancing act, and that's the hardest thing. Get it wrong, your player base will go. We'll take a spare one because from here we're probably going to need it. Sun's coming up. It's nice. My entire base was mobile. Yeah. But that's fine. If you do that and you've... I don't mind it that way. What I don't want is players doing the whole... having a base that they can deploy and then they can just pack it up and it appears in their rucksack and they walk it somewhere else and it's got like 1,000 slots of storage when they deploy it and all that sort of shit. And it comes with a weapons rack and everything else, and you can just carry it in your rucksack. Because what does that... You might as well... It's not a survival server, in my eyes. Now, if that was a case of you had a blueprint and you then deployed it, and then you had to build the whole thing, cut down trees and do all that sort of stuff, I don't have a problem with it. And you carried the blueprint with you, but each time you stopped, you had to rebuild your base from scratch. It's different. But I don't, you know, if somebody wants to have a vehicle and turn that into a base, I don't have a problem with that. That would be me, the mobile basing. So the problem I have with Next Wipe is the map is majorly in development. So we're going to have, between now and August, there's going to be one, maybe two updates to the map. And I'm not sure it'll be finished at that point. So if I put in base building, we're going to end up in a world where we might suddenly have an update that comes in and people lose their bases. But if I don't have base building, I won't be happy with the server. I need to have base building on the server, or some form of building a base and securing your loot. So at the moment, my train of thought is to have code locks with small tents, and then rather than breaching charge, have a raid hacksaw to cut the code lock off the tent, and then have easy flag, but allow people to dismantle their flags and move them on. And that way people, when they're ready to move, can pack their tent up and can move to a new location. But take nails out of the server, so you've got no reason to have nails. And probably do away with the trader for one wipe. Because otherwise, when people dismantle their flags, we'll end up in a world that they'll get a box of nails from it, basically. Which so then they'll just keep building and dismantling flags. So I would put in tents and code locks as ground loot, and players would be allowed maybe two tents on a flag maximum, or one tent. We go for one tent. You have many stashes as you want, but you can only have one tent. Food's going to be my next issue. Isn't there a well at this one? No, it's the next one. Is there a way to code no material return on dismantling? Maybe there's a mod that will do it for me. So I'm not a modder. I wish I was. It's not a skill set I have. We've got easy flag. We use that all the time because it's simple and it works. And you can have no nails on dismantle, but I'd have to test it to make sure it worked. To stop people farming flags, basically. But we'd have to have flag, because otherwise people will put a tent up, they won't put a flag up, and the next thing you know, all their gear's despawning and they're opening tickets. And I don't, as we both know, I don't want to spend my life answering tickets. So yeah, so that's the first issue I have. And it's achievable, because that means if there was an update, the most people are going to lose a tenth's worth of gear. Always up for testing help. It's cool to see the mechanics of the game in a different way than just playing. Thank you. So within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have somebody at work. I've swapped some of my old RAM for a old laptop, but what I'm going to do is set that laptop up as a testing server, so we can build the new server on it and test some mods, but it'll be behind a password and it'll be very limited access. I'll turn the laptop on, people will play it, won't be allowed to stream it, won't be allowed to talk about it, won't be allowed to discuss it in anywhere apart from that group. If they do, they'll get banned from the server, because when we do things like that, I need those conversations to remain private, so when people get to play it for real, they get to play it for real, and it's the first time they've ever played it. Because otherwise people will go in there and go, oh, it's amazing what's coming in the future, we've got this coming in and that coming in and the other coming in, and if you go here this happens, and then it doesn't have the same effect on players. So my intention is to have a private testing server and invite yourself and Wes to give it a go if they want to, and Irish potentially, because then I get the different perspectives. You're more the survival player, Irish is the role player, but mainly PvE role play servers, so it's a different way of thinking. And it helps me balance the servers better. And then all that would happen is we'd have tests for an hour when I'd say, right then, everyone will spawn in on the same location, and I want you to do the following: put a tent up and raid each other's tents, so I could check that the raiding mechanics worked. Yeah, that all works. Right then, turn the server off, we're keeping that mod. Right, now I'm going to put on this mod and we're going to test this, sort of thing. Yeah, and that's the downside. So you wouldn't get to test everything, if that makes sense. As a server owner, it's really difficult. You know, last night I was streaming Livonia and I didn't know whether Treasure was working correctly, so I jumped into the back end of the server to check that Treasure was deployed correctly. And once I was in the back end of the server, I then saw that there was 2 players within 500 meters of me moving towards my location. So I started to make, whether you like it or not, I started to make decisions about what I was doing based upon knowledge I shouldn't have had. So then I stopped streaming and came off the server and found a different server to play. Because it's not fair to have that knowledge. Yeah. So, I switched across and I played the server I was playing this afternoon instead. Because otherwise, and that's the trouble with having the back end. You know, I can go into the back end. I can tick a box. I can tick your name. I can hit the map screen. I can see exactly where you are on the map. I can then put invisible mode on, and I can jump and stand behind you and watch everything you're doing, and you have no idea I'm there. If I want to, I can hit a button and see what's in your inventory. If I want to, I can turn on wireframes, so I can see where every player is in the map, but with little wireframes. Oh wow, we'll not watch your Livonia until the wipe, just to save learning stuff that gives a gain. It's difficult, isn't it? I don't mind, I get it. If I'm streaming the server, I won't show people when I'm... So, when I was jumping into the back end, I didn't show that to players. I will never show the back end of the server to people that are watching the stream. That will never happen. My friend makes me puke. Yeah. And that, all he's doing is hitting a button. He's clicking on your name and make sick. Yeah. So I'd never show people that the back end of the server, wouldn't do it. I'll always put it into be right back, so they'll always get the be right back screen if I'm off doing silly things. So we're going across here to the well, where we'll fill up our little pot of water and we'll boil our chicken, so we get hydration and food off it. Just down here, isn't it? But still, once I had that knowledge, I had to stop playing on the server because I had the knowledge. So it is really difficult being a server owner, streaming it and doing admin support at the same time. You know, it's not difficult for me to know where everyone's bases are. But as I've said before, what I do is I tend to do that. I know where your base is. I don't at the moment. I haven't looked for a while. I haven't checked things. But I knew where you were, obviously, because I came over and we did some building stuff. So, but then I haven't seen where you might have moved to. But still, it's not difficult to find it. What I won't do is go looking for it. I log all the flags. And then if a new player comes on and puts a flag up and builds a base, I do a little look at the data in the background rather than run out and check them to see if they're up to no good or not. And as long as they're behaving themselves, then all is good. That water bottle. I forget in vanilla you need to purify water bottles. It's alright. It's life. The reason I always throw them out is I'm looking for batteries. I don't care about the torch. So all we would do next wipe is basically have something along the lines of you have to preserve your tent. I'd have to put on something that made sure people had to have a flag up for their tent to work. So you'd have to have a flag up to be able to deploy the tent. So we'd need that on there. And then we would put easy flag on, easy dismantle no materials. Make it so only you could dismantle your own flag. Put a way of raiding people's code lock tents on. That has to be in place. If you find someone's tent and you've got a raid saw on you, you should be able to deal with it. I'd probably put something like Project Hope backpacks on, the big backpacks that will carry lots of things attached to the outside. So people that didn't want to put a tent down, people like me, could live completely off their rucksacks. And a way of carrying NBC equipment as well within a small case. What about no flag? No. What about the no flag base setup? No. The only way I could do it without a flag is making tents last for 38 days, and then I've got no way of knowing how many tents people have deployed. And that way, then the problem is that people will cheat and put a tent inside a tent. No matter how much I say within the rules, you can't do this. Because I can't log it and track it, people will do it once, get away with it, and keep doing it. Unfortunately. You bastard game. And we need to be able to track things, because I can't have people cheating. Also, because when we're running the server longer than 30 days, I'd be saying to people, you have to refresh your flag. Oh, I was away on holiday, I didn't refresh my flag and it's despawned. I've lost all my gear, can I have it back? And some players, you can turn around and go, no, it's in the rules. And they'll be like, okay. Others, you'll say that. And the next thing you know, you're getting a DDoS attack on your server. So I prefer to have the ability of tracking and people to know that I can track what they're doing. Of course, the other issue we have then is the server has helicopters on it. or the map we're going to, has helicopters on it. And I would like the ability for players to be able to preserve their helicopters. Yeah, I know you're not well, mate. We need meds, don't we? We need meds. There we go, that'll do. Make like a little bit easier. God, my patterns are super. You'll see. I don't watch people, and I don't watch them on purpose because I like to play the server as well. Oh yes. Right, and now I'm happy to throw that away and put that on. You stupid game. Better. So, if we're going to have helicopters that we need to get preserved, people are going to need bases. Which then causes the next problem. Oh, where are you? Come on. Bin that off now. It's not important. Which means we can bin that off. Actually, we've got space to carry it down here. We'll carry it down Europe. Must have been super close to a player yesterday. I saw DayZ all over a contaminated zone. See, I can't track stuff like that. I can if I was on the server in admin mode. But I don't get tracking information afterwards. I don't have that on my server. Some people do. They have something that tracks players' movements all the time. I don't. What I have is I can track what flags are up. I can look at your profile to see whether you've ever been thrown out of a server or for breaking rules. Loot less fear, screw gear fast. Screw gear fear. Yeah. I can look at once you've got a base up or once you've put a flag up, I can track how many code locks you have. Because that's worth doing. It's not so bad when on our server because the players that stay tend to join the Discord and read the rules because it's difficult enough that they want to see what it's all about. If the server was any easier, we'd have a lot of players that play it that aren't in the Discord, and then those people have never read the rules. And it would make my life a lot harder. Because again, we were back to those days of me going, guys, you need to do this. Why haven't you done it? Or why are you breaking the rules? Just a few currently, but I'm happy with that few, if that makes sense. So the problem we have is server comes up, people join, they give it a go, and it's too difficult, we never see them again. I'm happy with that. Other people will play for a little bit of time, and then they'll go off and find another server. Happy with that, get it completely. Everyone, I'm the same. We all move around servers. We all play different servers. We do different things. So you can't condemn people for doing what I do myself. But because of the level, because of what we are, because of the type of server I make, it doesn't appeal to the masses. You know, the masses come on and go, this is harder than vanilla. Why would I want to play this? If I want to play a hardcore survival server, I'll play something with a Siberian project on that has all that medical problems and various diseases, and which I won't put on. I don't think, for me, it doesn't. There's no fun in it. Takes the fun out of DayZ for me. And they have some very dedicated players that will play it, but no one else. People want something to do. So on the server we have at the moment, obviously we have treasure, which we can't have on the new server, only because I have no way of making treasure work. We can have caches, but we can't have treasure. So no more photographs. But the players that we get that stay with us and stick with us tend to stay for a while. And that I like. Right, where are we on the food situation? A piece of rope and we could go fishing, couldn't we? I say that just at the point where I'm like desperately need a piece of rope. What have I got? 3. So I need 9 rags and then we can eat. Or we can just have streamer loot. But I like the level we've got it at. You know, Irish plays it his own unique way and enjoys it, and if he plays it, I've got it at the level where people, if they're willing to put effort in, will be all right. I've just got to work out next wipe whether we go for tents or whether we go for some method of base building. Just got to work out how to do it. Is that dog food? No, it's lunch meat. That's safe to eat. And it's because the next map has helis on it. And I realise if someone gets a heli, they'll want to be able to preserve it in their base. What about the tiny sheds, not the ones with lots of storage? So, more like a wood. So, my problem is they're too mobile. So, if it's a case of it takes 20 nails or 20 planks and 180 nails to make a shed, but then you can pack the shed up with a hatchet, put it in your rucksack and move to your next location and deploy it again, it's no longer a survival game. It's a PvE. Here, have a nice base, move it round with you. It stops being... It stops that element. And that's my problem with it. It just becomes too easy to move location and put it up again. And I don't want that. It doesn't feel right to me. It feels too easy. I don't mind it when it's like a physical tent you're carrying around with you, because it takes up a lot of space in your inventory and it feels real. Why wouldn't you take a tent with you if we're going to have a server with tents on? You would. You'd move around with it. You'd take it with you. You'd move location to location with it. That I get. But it's how we do the base building part as well that gives players the ability. And it might be a case if we have rag base building. We want the alcohol. It might be a case that we have rag base building, but we also put in one small tent type and say to players, you can use a tent with a code lock if you wish, but you'll need to put up a flag. So you're not forcing people to have a base. Or we say that we limit the amount of code locks that can be used. Drop it from 10 down to a bit more realistic. Like that. Actually, we don't need that. I'm being stupid. This is when I first played DayZ and I was on my own on a server and my friends came and rescued me and they lit a fire here and cooked me some food. Back when I was like 3 hours into my DayZ life. Because I would rather build a base, but we've got to then work out how we go about that. Also, the next map has more end game content, so we might have to change the no build zones, and I might have to work out, if we're going to have a trader, how we do the trader. So one of the ideas was been saved like that too. There you go. So one of the ideas I had was, if we would still have a trader, he would buy lots off you, but not a lot of nails. The only way of base building would be buying your tools from the trader and your code locks and your tents if we're going to have tents. So they wouldn't spawn in the world. The trader would sell those items to you. So people that wanted to base build would have to be running trader runs to save up the nails and use stashes until they had enough nails to get the stuff they needed to build their base. So it becomes harder to build a base. Because it's a smaller map, you're more likely to get people bumping into each other. Always take a USG mag. Not in normal DayZ, but on something like this I will. Now, what I want is a Z with a Paraburgen on, what you guys call an Alice pack. But the British Army field vest will do for the moment. So yeah, so that was the other option. Make base building a lot more difficult, and even running with a tent more difficult. Okay. Nice knife. 5.45. I think it is. And if we instead went to say base building plus, we would have tier 1 that you could make. Metal, which is tier 2, you'd have to get the metal sheets home. And tier 3, you'd need to go to the trader to use the concrete mixer. But the workbench that you initially make would need the blueprint, and the blueprint would be for sale at the trader. So base building wouldn't become, even though I'm not base building, my brain says when you find base building items, you have to carry them. There we go. We've got food forever. Don't need the chicken anymore. Field shovel. I'd rather take that over that. P5 compensator. How's our jacket? Badly damaged. We'll go for that one. And one of them is ruined, isn't it? That one there. Good. That's a problem dealt with. No stuffing the 3 times logs in a pack. MP5K. Right, goodbye. Hello. The log thing was just to make building slightly easier for players. It doesn't massively affect. You know, if I wanted to make it really hard, we'd have conventional flag. But nobody likes building flags in DayZ. It doesn't add to the game, it just annoys everybody. Go do some fishing, and then we can make our way down to my normal loot area and maybe pick ourselves up an AK. So we have to have, so because of the way that Trader works, because it's nails, and the game in its base form only allows a stack of 70 nails. If we hadn't have had the mod on that allowed you to stack more nails, then the highest price item could only be 70 nails. Otherwise, any more nails that the trader gives you, you would lose. They would just despawn. As soon as they appeared, you just would not get them. So my way round it was having something on the allowed stacking of nails. And I think a unique thing with me is having traders that work on nails. It is, isn't it? And for me, it feels more end of the world. I always wanted to do it. I couldn't believe no one else had ever done it before that I knew of. And when I was making inquiries about would it be possible within the trader community, and they were all like, yeah, it should work fine. Why would you want to do that? Why not rubles? I'm like, because it's the end of the world. Money has no value. But building a base has massive value. And nails weigh a lot. So players having to run lots of nails into trader to buy things have to worry about what they're carrying. Yeah, and that's how I've always seen it. Right, then now the fun starts. I need to clear enough space to get... Excellent. Yeah, I need... So, end of the world, nails is my currency. You could run anything. You could have bikinis as a currency once you know what you're doing, but people could grow currency then. So, nails made the most sense. Didn't want to do that, did I? Okay. About enough? I think so. Where did the other one disappear to? Did it do that DayZ thing and just disappear? No, didn't it? Put it up there. Okay. So, I've set them to be 30 days. So I've set things like that to last for 30 days before they despawn, once they're deployed. Because I like the fact that people can leave stuff knowing that someone's probably going to blow up on it at some point, or if they forget, they blow up on it themselves. Evil Goblin. So I try and set things to be as realistic as I can get away with. But that's what they're there for, yeah? What you're doing is... Why shouldn't you lay minefields around your base to stop people visiting? And if you do, why should they despawn on a restart? They should be there for ages. In my head. Ah, you're here to learn. Good. Right then. Let's start from scratch. Chernarus. I'm playing on a vanilla enhanced server, so it has 2 times loot, but otherwise it is vanilla. And it's empty. Well, unless somebody else comes on, but it's empty. So everyone will do things their own way. I always have my hotbar set the same no matter what server I'm playing. Because that's me. Yeah, of course I did. Got to show you from scratch. So, first things first, water, food, and a knife. Picking up little things like that, always going to be useful. And I'm always going to carry spare clothes, because when I can cut them up, I can turn them into rags. Rags make rope for fishing, or rags make emergency bandages. Or rope can be used as a belt. Fire lighting. Now, I'm never going to search every house. You could do it. You could stay in one area and search everything. But if you're playing on a server with people, the longer you spend somewhere, the more chance you have of bumping into people. Well, is that fair? No, probably not completely true. But, and to start with, I'm going to be upgrading my clothing to give myself more storage spots as much as I can. At this point, I don't care about how I look or if I'm camouflaged or not. Because if I got shot now, there'd be no great loss. If I'm picking up crisps, as I would call them, or chips, they will dehydrate you. So I'm saving them until I find something to offset that dehydration with, be that a can of drink or a well, or some fruit. We'll take the meat tenderizer, because I can smack chickens over the head with it, or zombies. Can you also use it for base building as a hammer? So he's found me, so make use of your terrain. Trying to avoid running starting off, this will consume the water. Yeah, I suppose that's a fair point. I do run. So yeah, walking makes more sense. Also, let's be honest, because I don't think about it myself, you've got a better chance of mushrooms spawning in or fruit spawning in if you're walking towards an orchard or the woods. Might be around in that. Yeah. So now I've got 4 rounds on the 12 gauge. So what I need is a blade. So at this point, nobody knows where anything is. Loot is pretty much random. So these little huts here, these little things here, these little shops, you've got a chance of food in them. It's not a guarantee there'll be food in them, but there's a chance. If you're playing on a vanilla server, if you put things inside the teddy bear, and put the teddy bear in your inventory, if you get shot, whatever's inside the teddy bear won't get damaged. So now that's on, and I've got a little bit of food inside it. Bit more food there. Got a Z over there. I'll back off. Now it knows where I am. We'll deal with it. Back away, so you're blocking. I don't know what the keys are on console. So I've been cut now. Search. Inside the shed. Bandage. So how spawning works in woods is it's 20 minutes. It will take up to 20 minutes. No. Within a certain distance. So here, if I'm 300 meters from the woods, it will look at how many people are on the server, how many mushrooms it's already spawned, and then it will decide whether it's going to give me any or not, based within a radius of me. So you won't always get them, or they won't always be where you're walking. That way it feels random, but it is 20 minutes. So if you find a mushroom on the ground that's rotten, that's because it was spawned in 20 minutes ago, or 18 minutes ago before it despawns. And when you move 300 meters away, it will despawn. Or, yeah, it will stay rotten until you move 300 away, then it will despawn. Okay, now they've spotted me. We'll deal with it. Now that bag has 35 slots. My school backpack has a lot less. Oh, they're wearing it still. Also, that's more camouflaged. So now I've got a bit more storage. So we're now in an industrial area, so you'd expect to find industrial tools. Saws, hammers, that sort of things. As well as general loot. And it's not an exact science. It's not a... If I run to military, I'm going to find military stuff. But it might not be an M4 because you're not in an M4 area. But camouflage containers are going to have more military orientated things in them. So there, pair of BDU pants. It's got more slots. We'll take it. We'll carry across. We can put that on there now. Spare ammo. We've got space now to start carrying some of this stuff elsewhere. Tape will repair rucksacks. We heard a chicken. If I kill the chicken, I won't gut it until I've got gloves on or a way of cleaning my hands, otherwise I'll get ill. We'll take the shotgun ammo. We'll take the matches. We'll take the hoe. You can always grow food with it. Well, once you've got the food. You'll often find food or cans of drink in greenhouses. These huts are little security huts. So there's a chance of some basic weapons. Smoke grenade in that one. Rubber slugs. I'm never going to pick them up. If you want to take players hostage, they're useful. What I want now, at rope, that's massive. What I'm after now is a dry sack. So then anything I put inside it, even if it's raining or I have to swim, will stay dry. So, USG mag. And a dry sack then means that my matches stay dry whatever, which is useful. So I can hear the chicken. So any container that has those on can't be unlocked. Just going to pick him up. And we're just moving around, looking where we're going. What I'm after now is a knife more than anything else. Okay, he's found me. And my meat tenderizer broke, so I'm down to fists. And that's fine. Most of the food I've got on with me now will dehydrate me. So I'm trying not to eat it unless I have to. Bit more food. Another box of matches. Now you can merge matches. So now I've got a full box. I'll leave those behind. So now down to the shoreline and we're looking for boats. Little baby, like over there, because there's a chance of dry bags on them. And fishing kit. And cans of drink. So, can of Sprite. Dry bag. So put the dry bag up. We need to keep that 100% dry. The rest doesn't matter so much. So you put in there things that you're not going to need straight away. I'm throwing these on the floor because what I want to do is get that in first, so that's preserved. And we're keeping these because we want to turn them into rags to make a pair of gloves. So now let's see if we can. You can. Let's make some rags. 2 rags will make emergency gloves, which means then we can deal with the chicken and eat it. Back on my back, put them together, hold, and then I'm going to make improvised hand wrapping. Did that not work? No, put them somewhere random. There they are. Do that DayZ thing. Pick them up. Now we're wearing them, so now our hands don't get bloody. Put them away as an emergency bandage. We'd need to purify them if we wanted to use them. So next thing, can we cut up the chicken with this? It's worth a test. No, we can't. That's fine. We'll carry it though. We've got food and drink on us now. So Because the food we've got will dehydrate us, eat the food first and then drink the drink afterwards. So my food's going up, my water's going down. And these have a little bit of hydration in them. Now we'll drink our drink. Put that one away for the moment. Stick that away. We don't need to worry about it. Okay, next thing to learn. Badly damaged ammo might jam. Pristine ammo. Merge the two. Now I've got worn ammo. Move on. So because we spent a bit of time there and we walked in, these apple trees or pear trees, whatever they might be, might spawn food. Might not. It's not a guarantee. So there's a dried apple. We'll have that. It's a rotten one. Leave it behind. Dried. We'll take. Ready to go. Ready to go. Ready to go. Is this all making sense? Doing it like this and doing it nice and slowly and talking through what we're doing. If you've got any questions as we're doing this, just ask away. Rotten, leave it behind. Now, if this was a busy server, I wouldn't spend so much time doing that. I'd move on again. That's okay. I don't mind. It, to me, helping people learn how to play DayZ is amazing. They're worn. What I've got's pristine. I'll stay with what I've got. If mine were worn, I would take those worn ones because they've spawned in worn, where mine are already worn and might be nearly pristine, nearly badly or nearly damaged. So I'll always take the one that I find because it's got a better chance of lasting longer. So I know where I'm going now. It will take me a while to get there, but I'm heading down the coast. Coast on my left hand side, because it's a loot run I normally make. I know where some of the wells are, because that's the big thing to learn, is where the wells are. Once you know that, everything becomes easier. I'll always take a crowbar if I can fit one in, because they're good for hitting zombies with. Now they're industrial buildings over there, but we're not base building today. If we were, we'd be in there looking for nails and hatchets and saws. So then I'll hotbar some food, because on PC, I don't know how it works on consoles, but I can just press 3 then and start eating that apple before it goes off. And I'm going to eat my dried ones before I eat my ready to go new ones. We've already got one chicken, we'll let that one live. We do need a knife still, but we're not desperate now. On an empty server, follow landmarks, so railway tracks, roads, electricity lines, and learn them. If you learn to play DayZ on Chernarus or Livonia, and you spend most of your time on one of those two servers, you'll learn the map eventually. And once you've learnt the map, it becomes easier. I'm not perfect, but I know the route I'm taking. I know why I'm going this way. I know where eventually it gets to. Yes, you can. But again, it's a spawn thing. So, the game will look at the code and it will say, somewhere along here, there'll be a spawn point, 4 stones. And it will say, words to the effect of, Goblin is now 300 metres away from that spawn point. Do I spawn them in? Yes, no. And it's running that forwards and backwards all the time. So they might be spawning behind me. Now, because there's no one else on the server, they probably are going to be spawning. But they have to be spawning on something that, on a spawn point. It's not the whole railway track. So if you go into the server files, what it would show you is every grid reference on the whole server that those stones could spawn in. And it would say there could be a maximum of 50 of those stones at a time. And they will last for so many seconds before they despawn. But you only actually need to find one of them, because then you can strike a rock with it and turn it into a knife. But they don't last very long. So I can see a Z over there. I'm not interested, because I know that round this corner and up there, there's a well. And it's a well that I want to get to, because the well will give me water. And there's a chance of getting a knife there. There's about 3 little houses that are all together. and then we could cook the chicken. But also we can then get from the bones, we can turn into a fishing hook, and we've got a piece of rope, so then we can go fishing. And if you can go fishing, you never need to worry again. So we're just going to wander along. Now, again, busy server. I wouldn't use a glow stick. I wouldn't put it on because you'll give away your position. And if you see a glow stick lying on the ground, stay well away, because players will drop a glow stick in the middle of the woods or on a railway track or on a road, and they'll sit watching it with a scope. There might be. It's a train spawn. I don't tend to use this train spawn because we're now in a tier 1 area. So the game works in tier 1, 2, 3 and 4. And you get better gear higher up the tiers. So I tend to move. So I wouldn't be using trains down here because it wouldn't be giving me the stuff that I need. Whereas the trains, as you go further up the map, have a better chance of having stuff that I might need on them. So you start off on this map in the low tier, and the top left hand corner is the highest tier of the map. So it's all about getting to the top left hand corner to get the best weapons. But if you run straight there, there's a fair chance you'll die. So it's about gearing up to make your way there. So I know round this corner and over there is a little village. And in that village there's a well. It's a village, it's a hamlet, there's like 4 houses. But there's a well, and it's a well that I want because then I can drink until my water is full, and then I know I don't need to drink for a while. There's also a farm there. And actually, now we've got that, we might be able to... No, we can't. Worth a try. So, I don't tend to use a prison because on vanilla servers it doesn't have the type of loot that I need. But I play a lot of modded servers, so me coming on here is like never happens. I'm never going to play normal vanilla. But I realise you needed someone to take you through on something you're used to, where there's no extras. So what I'm doing now might be done on a keyboard and mouse, but it's no different than what you can do. So I'm always going to pick up something like that, because that means we can cut the chicken up. But what I really want is the well. We've eaten all those apples. We're pretty good at the moment. So there's a little checkpoint there, which means we're coming up to the houses. And there they are. I'm even going to show you a spot where you could put a stash that might help you in this area. But it needs to be morning before we go there, realistically. That's why I dropped my gloves earlier. Let's drink. And drink until my water bottle's full, if you're safe to do so. Because then you won't need to drink again for a while. Which is good. There we go, full stomach icon. Right, if we put on the glow stick, because I want to show you something. We're a little way away from it, but zombies are attracted to light. And obviously players are attracted to light. So we go into those tall buildings there. Bus shelters are good for maps. And bus stations are very good for maps. Nothing today? Nope. You move slightly quicker if you don't have anything in your hands. Not massively quicker, just slightly. Yeah, so what this darkness is what used to be darkness on consoles, whether you liked it or not. Whereas on PC we tend to have everything a lot darker. This server they're just running on the basic settings. But the fact that I'm playing it, no one's played this server in about 20 days. So the fact that I'm on here will keep the server owner happy. So I want the gas stove. I want the extra ammo. Now I know that near here there is also a military area. Not a good military area, but it's still a military area. So we're going to go and hit those little tents and see if we find something. There's your stone, is it? Yeah. So, 1 stone. Now, we don't need to find a second stone. If you do, you can rub them together. That'll work. But now you just need to find a rock on the ground and you can turn it into a stone. Into a knife. Or you can use a hammer on that rock to make stones. If you're playing on a busy server, stay clear away from those buildings there. Clans will use those as for bases. So unless you're ready for a fight, stay away. They can fit a lot of stuff inside them. So up behind here is a very small military area, like a few tents. So we're moving up. Now you can jump over the wall if there's no barbed wire on top and you've got enough stamina. Or if there's a gap like that, you can climb under. We'll go over. There's your little tents in there. That's the helmet I threw away earlier, but we'll take it. Head protection means zombies are less likely to hurt you. Engraved colt, we'll take. I'll put it inside the holster. I've got no ammo for it yet. Hiking backpack, that's 42 slots. That's 35. We'll move across. Same trick as before. Put them in my hand. Drag them onto it. Didn't work this time. It's not an exact science, as we've seen. There's a better helmet. That off. That one on. We will be fishing at some point. So we're going to pop in here. Straight away on the floor, we found a patrol jacket. I'll take that every time. For the moment we're carrying that because we're hoping to find something we can use it with. Next thing I want to do is, before we get wet, let's move our rags, because they're fire lighting kit, into there. Camnet we don't need, we're not base building. Take the ammo. We'll take the flashbang. We'll take the scope. I forgot to. I'm never gonna get everything. It's just, and you will do the same. You'll watch people stream thinking, why didn't you do X, Y, Z? And then you won't do X, Y, Z. We all do it. I'll always take batteries, because you never know when you might find MVGs, especially if you're playing on a server where people get killed. And being able to operate safely at night is massive in DayZ. If it's really pitch black and you've got a set of MVGs, you can operate really safely. Now, I'm off to show you something now. That's one of my little my useful things. Hey, I just switched to PC and I seem to really like the mouse. Do you have any other map recommendations? Oh dear, the mouse is awesome. If you want a big map with lots to do and end game, Deer Isle is certainly worth a visit. If you want more survival map, then Livonia. But go for a modded Livonia that's been modded into more of a survival build. I personally don't like Takistan, because Takistan's the desert map that's more about PvP. But many people do like it. So Willie, this is where I would never on a full server climb this ladder. But if you need somewhere to hide up, or stash some gear, and it's night time and you don't have a big light on like I have currently, then go up here and get off at the first junction. This one here. There's a whole big room that makes an ideal place to build a base. If you put a flagpole inside here and build a flag, it can't be seen outside. You can stick a door on there with a lock on. You can get tents inside here and barrels for cooking. I won't go up, but up you've got more stuff upstairs that you can go to as well. To stop people getting in, put a wall there with barbed wire on top and a bicycle chain lock on it on vanilla, and it gives you a bit of protection. Or don't, and work on the fact if people can't see it, they might not go there. It's all those little things, you know. I've been doing this for nearly 5,000 hours now. Do I want the police pants? Mine are badly damaged, but I'm happy with mine. I'll take the CR mag. It's not great, it's 380, but it's useful. I'm not a fan of enduro helmets. I'm not a fan of 2.2 ammo either, but we'll take it. I don't tend to wear sunglasses, but people do because it'll stop the God rays. So this one will go underneath. So get on the floor and then crawl forward. Thanks, Willie. And we're going to push this way. And we're going to head back towards the coast. Now, if you want to bury a stash and you always want to be able to find it and you don't want anyone to know where you've hidden it, so say we were going to bury that bag of loot. I can bury it. So if I bury it here, on the ground, you can see there's it shows there's something buried there. Dig it up. But if you go into a graveyard and you bury it in any of the plots, it won't show it. So remembering which one is yours, you can come back to your loot and it won't give away that it's there. But people know that they do that. I'm not sure on the big dry sacks, probably. So always bury in a graveyard if you can. But graveyards aren't always the safest place to bury. Because everybody knows about it. And by walking, we're preserving more calories rather than running. Okay. Any dry sack can be. Can you also bury the homemade ones, Stakes? If you're in here and you've got a zombie problem, walk over the top. Obviously, players are more likely to shoot you. I'm going to carry on down. We're nearly back to where I committed suicide earlier. If Farals is still there, or still in the chat, then sometimes it's worth just looking on. There's a website called Battle Matrix. If you go on there and look for DayZ, you can then search all the servers in the world, and you can put them into the you can sort of search for mods you like. And it will show you all the PC DayZ servers, and you can find something that fits to what you enjoy. After a while, you'll work out the sort of things you enjoy or don't enjoy, mods that you don't like at all, and you can say exclude every server that has a mod I don't like, or include every server within so many kilometres of where I live that has a mod I do like. Afternoon, man versus gold, or in my case, evening. But afternoon to yourself. It's over here in this side of the pond in the UK. It's 9:58 at night. We're doing some instruction for Willie on basic DayZ instruction. So, which is why I'm playing an empty vanilla Chernarus. So we can go through the basics of things to do and places to go and how things work. And I don't know everything. It's DayZ. Not everyone's learning all the time. So I don't do vehicles, but if you did, you'd want a radiator, I'm sure. I'm one of those people that really does not do vehicles. Ah, there you go. So, but most people in DayZ love vehicles. 1 in the afternoon there. 5 PM there. But I'm not a vehicle fan. I prefer to do everything on foot. I wouldn't say I'm a great teacher. I just explain and will answer questions if asked. And I don't know everything, as I said, you know, I'm never going to. Oh, so always take on a vanilla, if you can fit it in, alcohol tincture. Alcohol tincture can be used to purify your wounds if you get bitten by a zombie, or to purify rags to turn into emergency purified bandages. Don't want a smoke grenade. Don't want a dust mask. We'll always check these little kiosks because they're a good place to get lighters and matches. Yeah, I agree completely on that one. I'm not a vehicle fan. A lot of people are, not me. DayZ vehicles are so buggy as well. You could be driving on a DayZ vehicle on an empty server. Now, if I was playing on my server, I'd take pliers, because pliers can be used to turn wire into nails. But on here, I'm not base building, so I wouldn't bother. Now, to our right, there is a military airfield, but it's low tier, and I've looted it an hour ago. Because this server is not very busy, it's a nice way of putting it, I probably wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't go back in there now. The chances of getting anything useful is nil. But we're going to carry on down, and we'll go to my favourite little spot that people seem to forget. Yeah, that's about the truth in vehicles in DayZ. Things are better than they were, and the Humvee is probably the best because it's automatic. But still, vehicles are so unstable. The game was never meant to have vehicles in it. If you took all the loot out, took it back to its armour roots, then vehicles would be fine. But it's spawning in 36,000 items, and then people are driving around the map, and it's got 11-year-old netcode, and it really does not like it. DayZ is just one glitch after another, isn't it? Thank you, Willie. I'm quite a fan of my servers as well. We've been doing them since Christmas now, but we're going to keep going. And every sort of 3 or 4 times a year, we'll wipe, new map, new experience, let people try something different. Yo, welcome back. So the sun should be coming up again soon. Even though it doesn't really count on here. Oh, hello, Mr. Zombie. Fancy seeing you out here this time of night. Come on then. Take some 7.6254. I'm not a fan of the round, but I'll always take some. I don't really want to fight that one, so we'll leave him to his own devices and only fight him if we trigger him. At the moment we don't need food massively. Do some running for a while. Get to where I want to be. Won't take us too long to get there. And we have a fishing kit now. The only thing, yeah, we have enough stuff we could light a fire and cook the chicken if we needed to. And the bones will turn into a hook. And as long as we're near the coast or a pond. And on this server there's no crocodiles in ponds, not like mine. So you don't have to worry about that. So learning a map makes life so much easier, Willie. The more time you spend on one map, the more you learn where the wells are, where animals might spawn. There's no guarantee, obviously, that they'll spawn there, but the wells will be in the same place. Where players tend to build bases. That might be because you want to raid them because you've got lots of ammo in vanilla, or might be because you want to stay away from them, or maybe you want to lie in a bush with a sniper rifle and finish them off. Now I know there's a well in that town. Oh, I think there's a well in that town. Yeah, there will be. Yeah, there is. So just seeing the layout as I looked into the town is enough for me to go, yep, I know where that one is. I know where I am. So I've been on here enough. So if we want the well, we'll push down this side. There's also some apple trees down here, or pear trees normally. That one there, is it? Yeah, it's this one here. There's my well. And then opposite the well, where the greenhouse is to my left, there's some trees there that spawn fruit. So if I spend some time drinking, there's a fair chance, it's not a guarantee, but a fair chance you'll get some fruit spawning in. And again, we'll drink till our bottle is full. So we don't have a water bottle yet. Now you hear a cockerel crowing, it means the sun's coming up. If you find a clock in any major town, like a clock tower, the clock will always show the server time. So it's a good way of working out when morning's going to come. So these sometimes spawn in fruit. Not today. Quick check of the greenhouses though. It's a potato, we'll have that. And a water bottle. We'll empty the water bottle, because you never guarantee how clean the water that's in there is. Now we'll fill it. Now it won't be purified, so it's a risk if you drink it, but I'll only drink it in an emergency. And we'll carry on. First base I ever built in DayZ was in this house. Need a knife to cut that up. It's fine. We don't need it yet. We're not desperate for food. So I'll save it till when I need it. Ah, see, that's good. You're learning these things. It's my favourite part of the map from here up to Tissy. It's a bit of the map I know the best. Down to the corner and then up to Tissy. Willie, you don't need to hit the little commas anymore. I've managed to sort out my screen turning itself on and off. I turned off hardware acceleration on Chrome, and now it doesn't have hardware acceleration on. It doesn't blank all the time. It stays solid, which is good. So now, I'll say normally I wouldn't wear a glow stick, but I'll take that off because I can't stand the bloody things. You know this area, Willie, because you moved through here yesterday, didn't you? I'm guessing. If you've got a ruined item of clothing, you can still wear it. Just if you take it off, you can't put it back on again. So I will often stay in ruined military clothes because they, for me, I think they give better camouflage. Rather than move to something that doesn't. So I'm still not worried about cooking. I'm still living off the land, what I can find and pick up. I'm going to take you to somewhere that you might, obviously we're not going to go to the prison, but I'm going to take you somewhere that's worth knowing about. If you're tracking players that are moving towards the prison, there's a really nice spot if you've got a scoped rifle and you're willing to take a little bit of a risk and wait. And if you're playing on a modded server, I made it to prison and that's it. Yeah, but still, that's really good. Really good. Round the back of prison is a really good place to bury stashes. So the back wall of prison, round the back of that back wall, because nobody ever thinks about looking there. Or they do, but less, if that makes sense. Because people gear up and they move inland quickly. So having little areas that you always use for a stash, and allowing the fact that you're going to lose some of those stashes because people will find them or they'll despawn. So just imagine now we've got a scoped rifle. You've seen people run into prison. You know they're going to come out of prison in about 20 minutes time with loot. You've got rocks down there that you can get in to shoot into the prison area. And up here you've got a lighthouse that if you climb the lighthouse you've got even more of a modded view. Is it? I made it to prison and that's it. It is a modded server PvE. Okay. So for you, new to DayZ and on console, maybe PvE is a way to start off to get used to how the game works. There you go. Now lighthouses are strange in DayZ. Sometimes you get the best loot in the world off them, up them. Not the best loot, but you got a chance of rifles up them. Trial shoes. Yeah. So if it's not misty and you've got a scope and you're willing to lie down up here and wait, it's a nice little spot. And if I'm playing solo on a modded server, I'll often base build here. I will block that window up, block that off, and put a door in there. Now, because we've got a bit of 76239, so carry that for a while. We'll leave prison alone. What we're going to do is we're going to move down to my favourite spot at the bottom of the map to loot up, and then I'll probably leave it for this evening because it's now 20 past 10 and I've been streaming for 3 hours. It'll probably be 3.5, maybe 4 hours by the time I finish. But we will carry on this server in the future, Willie, at some point when you're around, and we'll carry on doing, and we'll work through various times on this server, and we'll go through loot runs, we'll go through basic base building, we'll talk about putting flags up, we'll talk about how you can secure your base, we'll do all that sort of stuff, but over a period of time, if that's okay. And it won't be a case of all the time that I'm playing this server. There will be other servers I play as well, but I will come on here to take you through various stuff. until... actually, what I might do is build a single player version of DayZ on my PC, because I can take you through on that. So I can have Chernarus or Livonia without any other players on that I could stream, and that way I can show you, and we can spawn in things if we need them to talk through how it works. Because I've been up since 5 AM and it's coming up to, it's 20 past 10 at night now. But I want to take you down to a spot that in vanilla, it's on the coast and it's well worth a visit. So it gives you something to aim for if you're on a server and you are after some gear. These aren't too bad. They are worth a visit, but if you do, make sure you check the back room. If you're base building, that saw would come in very useful. And the reason there's a saw there is that's an industrial zone. So for whatever reason, it thinks a train station is part of the industrial zone. People will search that for tools, but they'll forget about that. Yes, yeah, come out of the prison, turn left. Follow the coast along, basically. If you stay on the coast to where I show you, and I'll tell you when to come onto the road, it will make sense. But we'll go along the coastal route. As long as you've got the coast on your left, the sea on your left, railway tracks on your right, you'll be pretty good up to this corner. Well, actually, where we will need to go to a certain degree. Not the whole way there, but... You've got a chance for train spawn here as well. But again, we're still tier 1. And there's your train spawn. I would say you're better off looting the coast, because you've got a better chance of getting stuff off the boats that are useful to you at a low tier. Other people will go for the train every time. Really depends upon the player. Everyone has their own way of doing it. Now, you're never going to be safe anywhere on a map, but I've always found that down here I'm pretty safe, because players might hit prison, but then they're pushing up the map to gear up. This area down here is amazing. So, to start with, it's a helicopter spawn area. So there's a chance that a heli crash will come in, and you'll get good loot off it. So I would now move across to the dry bag, just because I can get more in it. Worth a try, wasn't it? Throw that away. That one on. And it's green, so it's a bit better camouflage. So we're going to follow this along until we hit the little stream. So on the roads that lead off the map, certain areas are known as evacuation zones. So here's your stream. Now we're going to come up to the bridge. And evacuation zones tend to have cars on them that are full of loot. So you could just follow the railway line. But what we actually want is the road. Now this will bring you... Now there are Zeds here. But now we're triple carrying. So what I want to do that. Put that in there. Stick that there. So it's a normal thing. Step on a vehicle. If the zombie spots you, and fight it that way. But if they don't spot you, just... Yeah, so we've been spotted. Onto a vehicle. Remember to step back because you'll push forward as you do it. You can jump on a car, yes. Or climb onto a car, but yeah. There you go. Not brilliant for loot today. Being able to jump on a car to save yourself from a zombie attack will make so much difference. We'll take a hammer. You can always smack zombies with it. Right then, so do we still have that piece? So take that, combine it with that. It's the same size. Now you just need a pot on top and you can cook. And it doesn't need lighting. It just turns on. So a frying pan with some fat in with the meat. There we are, ballistic vest, bit of armour. No use to me. I don't use rangefinders. You might do. What will happen is it will give you how many meters away things are. I don't use one. Knuckle duster, I'll always take a knuckle duster because they're great for zombie killing. Always checking the back of these vehicles. You never know what you might find. Nothing today, but worth a check. Now this little military camp here is normally, for a low tier area, excellent. If it isn't today, I apologise. That field there is a chance of a helicopter spawn, which then you get really good loot on. So we'll have a DMR mag, that's an M14, an SVL mag. Oh, we'll take an AK mag. Yes, I'll take a pair of warm jungle boots. Now I will carry the pouches if I can fit them in, but they take a massive amount of space, so tack back, we'll have that. Oh, a new smock. Now I'll swap it over. Okay, so we'll have ourselves a AK-74 with scope. And we've got a mag. Oh, we're going to bin off. I'll bin off that. But I'll take the ammo. See, I like that rifle. I like that one more. Now I'll throw away that. We'll take the M16. Don't need that anymore. And this is all at the bottom of the map near the prison. There's this car spawn area. And then we'll log out up here in the woods. You'll often find that sort of loot right there, and that's so close to where you are in the prison, and people don't think about going there. It's my favourite little spot. Yes, the weapons need cleaning. No, it's not perfect. But from where we started, I'd say we're doing pretty well. So, if you were there and you heard a helicopter crash and you saw smoke, you'll see the smoke and it will be in that field down there, more than likely. If there's no smoke down here and you don't hear a heli crash, there's no point looking for it. Again, it won't always happen. It depends on the server settings, it depends on lots of different things. But if you get here and there's a heli crash, you'll have up to 4 zombies to kill normally, and then you'll have loot on the heli. And what we'll do is we'll log out overlooking that field, so if we come on again on this server and there's a heli crash there, we're ready to go. And there we go. That's your first part of your instruction. I hope it's been useful. I hope you got something useful out of it. We will come and do some more. Probably won't be this weekend. I will be in DayZ this weekend, but on different servers. But certainly, I'm more than happy to go through more stuff as we carry on up the map and go to different areas, and I show different places to loot up and places you can hide things and bury stashes and hide bases and all that sort of fun stuff. More than happy to. I quite enjoy doing it. So I'll say good night for now. It's coming up to, well, it's 10:38 UK time. As I said, I've been up since 5 AM. I think it's probably time for me to sleep. But thank you for watching. Thanks for interacting. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for the conversation tonight. It's been awesome. And remember, if you've got a goblin in your sights, miss. I'll see you.